Hey guys, it's Pam. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite, most used art supplies at this moment in time. As everybody knows, the more you practice and explore, your preferences change. Anywho, I'm going to just try to dive right in. Now the first thing, and what I'm going to try to do is go in the order in which I art. First thing I want to share with you is my favorite journals, and most people, if you follow me on Instagram at socrazy.com, you'll know this already, but these journals are my absolute favorite. For a while I was using Tombow river paper and I still like it, but these are my favorites. I tried planing it this past week, the Tombow river ones, and I still just prefer these. But the paper quality in here, it's almost like what do you want to call those manila envelopes that you use at work. What are they called? It's not the hanging file folders, but I think you might know what I'm talking about. It's similar to that, but it holds a crap ton of mixed media liquids. Anywho, you'll see this particular book in one of my last videos when I did a flip. But those are my favorite journals, and I use watercolors, mixed media, all kinds of goodies on it. So what I normally do first is prep the page, and I don't always with those. A lot of times I'll use gesso, sometimes I don't. It just depends on the mood and where I'm at. But my favorite gesso is this Dylusions gesso. Now this blue label is different than this one. I got this one at Walmart, and don't think the two are the same because they're not. This one's a little more gritty. The blue one, the blue label one, is much more smooth, and it is an absolute favorite. And what I did with that was, because it's such a big container and I don't want to keep opening it up, risking drying it out, I put it in this squeeze bottle, which I got this from the Container Store. They sell them on Amazon as well. It's made by Oxide, OXO, but I just scoop some in here, and it has a neat flip top lid and it snaps, so I don't have to keep up with this the lid to it. But anywho, that's my favorite gesso. Sometimes I will stamp, and I don't have a whole lot, but I'm starting to get some stamps. This one recently is an all-time favorite. I love the floral pattern, and it's by Hero Arts. That one's really pretty. And then I like a mix of script and little music notes ones. And I don't know who these are by. I think this is a Tim Holtz, but I don't recall who that one's by. Then I like some graphic pattern ones, so I got one with diamonds and circles. So those are my most used stamps at the moment. And I kind of go back and forth between my background and stamping. Sometimes if I cover it and it gets too dark, I'll add more color or stamp over it again. But anywho, these sprays, these Dylusions ink sprays, are an all-time favorite for background colors, and they go super well with the Dina Wakley paints. These heavy body acrylics, their colors kind of go hand in hand to me, and they work super well. So I'll use those. With the ink sprays, let me grab ink sprays. I'll use these through Stencils, and or I'll take the lid off and use it as a watercolor. And sometimes you can just spray the page, but I don't, yeah, I will do that sometimes. I like to spray the top and then use a water bottle and spray it and make it drip. So that's a distress sprayer, but you can get any fine mist sprayer. That one works super well though. And another one that I use similar to this are the golden high flows. Yeah, high flow acrylics. These are my three that I use over and over and over again. You guys don't feel like you have to go out and buy every color known to man. I normally will go into Jerry's Artarama and I'll select my colors that I know I'm going to use over and over and try them out that way first, and then I might start adding to it. But those I do the same. I will either put it in a paint palette and splatter with my brush, or dip it and use it as a watercolor. Not as a watercolor, but I use it similar to the way I would watercolor, put it that way. But those are, I love the high flow. Any kind of liquid, more fluid medias I really lean towards. And the next ones, these I think are super underrated. They are the Americana by Deco Art acrylic paints. and I use these a lot of times when I'm doing my faces. I kind of keep with the same skin tone. I need to venture out and play, but anyway, these are the flesh tone, honey brown, and burnt sienna ones. And these are they're not super fluid like the high flows, but similar, and they dry matte, so they're easy to work over the top. One thing I recently started playing with are washi tapes. I know a lot of people are crazy over washi tapes. I'm still learning washi tapes, but these have been favorites, and I created a really pretty, I thought was a really pretty background this past week, and these are the ones I use. There's a music notes ones and like a newsprint, and then these are the James Burke washi tapes that I love the colors of these. So I use those. Sometimes when I don't use the ink sprays or the high flows, I will use Distress Oxides. Now, so let me grab this. This block, this acrylic block that you use for stamping, is how I use these a lot of times. And this I just grabbed because it's on the top. I got a lot of the colors in these. But I will smear this across there, spray it with water, and then use it as watercolor or like a watercolor, or I'll just pounce it across to get this organic shape. I do use these as a background too. Now they will reactivate with water just like the Dylusions ink, so just be aware of that. But these as well, you can use these little sponges and distress things with. I think mostly everybody knows about that. One thing I discovered this past week that I've absolutely been loving, I found this at Tuesday Morning, and the way I've used it is to roll it across those distress ink pads and then roll it across my art kind of sporadically. I mean, you can use it however, but I really like it. It's got little hearts all over it. I haven't used this one yet, but it has a little chevron pattern. If I can find more of these, I'm gonna grab them, because that was using them that way. That's how I got one of the backgrounds I posted on Instagram this past week. That's how you can see these in the background, but it's fabulous. And one other thing, I think the last one for my backgrounds are these Faber-Castell stencils. I do have some other ones I use, but these are my go-tos. This one is Mixed Media Stencils, and it has number 101. I think if you were interested in those, and these are relatively inexpensive if you compare how you're getting 10 of them. So these are, let me go through them. There's one, and you'll see these on my art if you flip through my Instagram page. I'll give you a glance at what they look like. This pack there. That one I'm not as crazy about. I used it, but not my favorite. And I like the hexagons, and that one's my favorite. Can't hardly see. Oh, there you go. But that's some stencils, and I do like some script. I want to get some more with some script and text on them, because I love having letters and numbers in the background. So usually once I get a background done, I will either not Mod Podge, but use matte medium to put it down. I love this matte gel. It's awesome. It's a little thicker than the liquid. I just got a fluid version. And for thinner papers, this one's wonderful. I don't think you would go through as much. And if you got a heavier paper, this one works well. But those two are what I normally, if I have a sketch drawn out and I want to glue it down, that's what I'll use. And if I don't have one that I'm going to put down matte medium with, I will draw on it. And here are some favorite pencils. These two you can get at Walmart. It's just a zebra 0.5 millimeter, and this one was the Uni Kuru Toga. It's a 0.5 as well. I really like that one. I like that it doesn't have a texture right here. A lot of the what do you call those, drafting pencils have that super rough texture here, and I don't like the feel of it. So, and this one is not as bad because it's a plastic here, I guess, and it does have a texture here, but it's not as annoying. Those two are good. This one's my favorite over that one. This one I really love. I'd like to get a couple of these and keep different types of lead in them. But anyway, it's a 0.5 millimeter as well. It's by Derwent. It has a nice weight to it, but not too heavy. And it's smooth. It's smooth all the way through here. It's a really sexy pencil, if you can have a sexy pencil. And these ones are usually what I like to go around them with. Now I'll go from a HB, which I don't have the HB here. There's a B, 4B, and 6B. I usually will start off lighter, and each, you know, every time I'll go over that image again, I get darker and darker until the final stages. Then I'll use at the moment, this 4B or a different 6B, because this 6B, and these are by Tombow, by the way. This 6B, I don't know if all of their 6Bs are that way, but this lead, it's short like this because it breaks. Every time I sharpen it and try to use it, it breaks. So I've not gotten any use out of this pencil at all. I didn't drop it 100 times to make it break, so I don't know if maybe I just got a dud or if it's so soft that it's common in that. I don't know. If you guys know, let me know. And this one is a super favorite. Only thing is, you have to find a sharpener to sharpen this fat boy. It's a Jerry's Artorama Jumbo Jet Black pencil, and it is black. It is an awesome pencil. I got backup of these. So that's the pencils. And with the pencils, you have blending stumps. I don't know of any particular brand to tell you is my favorite, because I don't know. I just grabbed these and they're old. I do know that there seems to be a difference. Some of them are softer, and when you scrub, it'll make a little, how would you say it? It'll like start shredding off, so you don't get that fine line and you have like a poofy bit here on the end. I do like this one a lot because it stays hard. It might flatten out, but you know, for me, I personally like that. I like being able to have a sharper point and a flat tip, but I don't know which ones to tell you to look for. You just have to play. But I always have a blending stump and a pencil with me. Those are absolutes. And erasers, this Staedtler Mars plastic, it erases clean for me. It does make a mess, but it does, even though it's dirty, it doesn't typically streak off. And if you're like me, if you got jeans on, you'll kind of rub it on your jeans to clean it. Oh, does anybody else do that? Anywho, that's my favorite, which I haven't played with a lot of erasers, to tell you the truth. This Mono Zero, though, I've got backup after backup. This is that little teeny round. I mean, it's super tiny, and you can erase very small streaks with that, and it's easy to replace. That one's getting low, as you can see. And you just push down the end and put it in. And it's like a mechanical pencil that pumps out as much as you need. You don't need but a little. But that's that. And then white pens, of course, the Uniball Signo. These things are always a love-hate, I think, with any white pen, because they'll skip. And it depends on what you're writing over, I know, but still, a lot of times if you need to get the ink flowing, you can just do that on your palm, and that kind of gets it moving again. And this little fatty is an absolute favorite. If you're going over anything with acrylic or the matte mediums, this shows up really well. Now if you go directly over the distress inks or anything, it's just gonna dirty up your nib and that ink will pop right back through. You can see I've done that because it's dirty, but I can clean it off. But over acrylics and matte mediums and things like that, this works super good. Now on to my favorite things to talk about. Oh, one other thing. When I do put down the gesso, I forgot about this, it was laying over here. This is my favorite way to apply it. It's just a cheap little paint palette knife. And I've got metal ones of these, but I tend to go towards the cheaper ones because I don't want to mess anything up, which is silly. But a lot of times I'll just squirt it out on here and smear it all over. That's the way I like to apply gesso. You can use a brush, but I like that texture that this gives. Now getting to the fun stuff. These are my watercolor paints. My favorites are these ones. These are by Qor, and Qor does not put theirs in half pans. They come in tubes, so you have to do that yourself. My art supply store will sell these empty half pans. They're not that much. I like being able to refill them when I run out. The only downside to the Qor is if you buy their sets, you get duplicates. That's a pro and a con, I guess. It depends on how you look at it. Those are my favorites. I have the high chroma set and the introductory set. So out of that, we got 7, 14, 17. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 14, 15, 16, 17 colors. And there was a 12 color set and a 6 color set. So, but anyway, you can see these colors. Oh, I love them. These are my favorite. I absolutely love them. They do not come in this tin. This is a Jane Davenport tin, which I love. I took the colors out of it, and the reason for that was I had bought the, I think it's called Meeden. I bought the Meeden tins to put these in, and I like those tins, but I'll show you the difference and why I chose this one instead. I bought this one, and they're very reasonable on Amazon for these colors. And I hate this hole here. I hate having empty spots. It just annoys me. See how pretty that is? Okay, getting off subject. These are the Jane Davenport colors that I moved from these two and put in here and just rearranged. But this space right here, you see how narrow it is? And you see this one's wider. So I can put 3 rows in here and fill this palette up in comparison to this. This, even if you turn these half pans sideways, they don't fit. If you can see what I'm talking about. So to me, there's a lot of wasted space in this palette. Look at the gap here and here. They could have slid these over and put, you know, a wider brush pan. I guess that's what, you know, room for brushes, which I never use. But anyway, I would have loved to have 3 rows in this slim palette, but it's okay. But just giving you a little hint there. If you, and these Jane Davenport ones have a good gap here. If you use the thinner half pans, there's difference in those too. If you have all thin ones, you can tell there's a fatty there, and there it makes it a little bit tighter. Let me show you these. If you order those by Meeden, the pans that come with these, well, the ones that I got are fat. There, you can see that. See the difference in those? Anyway, if they were all little like this, it would fit perfect. I got a couple of fatties in here too, but once these run out, I'll be refilling them but putting them in these smaller ones. Anywho, the Qor colors are my absolute favorite. I have several of the Daniel Smith ones now, and thanks to a good friend of mine. And I've ordered some from an Etsy seller. But anywho, I'm carrying this one in my bag to work every day now, so I'll have it. And I'm going to try to play with these a little more because I'm so used to these and love these, but I still want to carry these with me. Anywho, that's those. I had these two, and I'm telling you, I would be tempted to buy another one of these just for other watercolors because they're just so tiny and they fit perfectly with the 3 rows. So that's my favorite watercolors. I'm going to leave that open so you can see the pretty. Here is my brushes. I keep wanting to go too far forward. These are what I started with, the Princeton Neptune brushes. There. And they work pretty good. They have a little bit of a stiffer brush than some, than these. I'll put it that way. And I started off playing with these and it worked wonderfully. But these are my absolute favorite. This silver black velvet line. They got a really soft bristle. This one, if you can see, has super soft bristles. And when you wet this thing, it keeps a super fine tip to it. Right now it's dry. Now, when it's wet, look at that tip. It's just, it keeps that fine tip. So you can get a super fine stroke with it or super thick stroke. I found with these, they don't have a point to them, not like these. But anyway, the black velvet ones are my all-time favorites. I've got travel brushes in my bag that I carry to work that I use, but yeah, those are my favorites, and I think that may be it. Let me look around. I think that's it. Anywho, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you've got any requests at all for any future videos, let me know. And I thank you for watching. Now there goes a sight from my soul.